Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Say Report. I'm your host, Devin Decker, and joining me again, as always, Sejan Sarowick.
Yo, ahoy, ahoy. So we're just decided that there's not going to be any title for what you and I are anymore, right?
But there is no title. You're the only one who keeps using the co-host thing. It's the Say Report with Sejan and Devin.
But, like, I want to know where we are on the billing. When this inevitably starts making us some money, like, where are we on the call sheet? That's what I want to know.
I honestly feel like just based on credits that I already have, I'd unfortunately come before you. But I'm okay being and Devin. I like the Say Report with Sejan and Devin. I think that works.
Yeah, here we go. You all heard it. This is legally binding now.
I've always introduced it as the Say Report with Sejan and Devin.
I'm actually looking at stuff that I have written down in front of me for notes for the show, and they all say Sejan and Devin.
Yeah, of course, because you're a conceited son of a bitch, and I'm willing to say Sejan's name first. So welcome.
I think did we trade personalities for the show today?
It was super cool, right? Maybe we should call it the Switch Report.
Nobody else gets that? All right. Well,
yeah, I think they do because we did an episode called The Switch Report where I called our show The Switch Report.
Yeah, but what they don't know is that off camera, you've been saying The Switch Report by accident.
Do you know why I've been saying The Switch Report? Because I now own a Nintendo Switch, and I'm so excited. It's all I think about. It haunts my dreams.
Aww.
It and Alpha 5 from the new Power Rangers movie haunt my dreams.
Yeah, man, that little robot looks creepy as... All right.
It's scary.
We shouldn't... Oh.
Oh.
We don't have a safe word yet, so I can't scream it.
But on the topic of Power Rangers, this is just a small one. I was in a Walgreens today, and I was looking at the clearance toys, and there was a Pink Ranger from the Power Rangers movie available. How much you think she was, Sejan?
I don't know, like $8 or $9?
$2.75. She was $2.75.
There you go.
So I am now the proud owner of a pink Power Ranger from Power Rangers movie coming out March 24th.
I don't know why, but I always feel so skeevy about buying toys at a convenience store like that. Like, they just feel like they're just going to be cheaper toys. I mean, they're not. Hot Wheels are Hot Wheels everywhere, but for some reason a Hot Wheels that came from a CVS doesn't feel like a real Hot Wheels.
I understand where you're coming from. Don't get me wrong, but you can't say no to a price like that. Also, Walgreens, of all the convenience stores, they're the ones you want to buy toys from because they have a licensing agreement with Hasbro. Them and Hasbro work together. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they've had a bunch of exclusives only at Walgreens, which is weird when you think about it because convenience, I mean, like, not a pharmacy toys were like what your grandmother got you when she forgot to buy something for you when she was coming over.
Exactly.
But nope, quality toys. And
so can I back up for a second?
Yeah, of course. Let's back.
Did you say that you bought a Switch?
Yeah, I bought a Nintendo Switch.
I guess I'm not that surprised. You did say that you had one on reserve. So is this the one, or
this is the one actually? And I have another one coming. I bought 2 Nintendo Switches, and I'll tell you why. Have I already told people why it's smarter to buy 2 Nintendo Switches?
No, we not on this show, so we should definitely talk about it.
So it's smarter if you have the means to get 2 Switches. That is the best path to go. Maybe not right now because there's not really another game that requires 2 systems. Right. But if you're buying the one system and you want to play with somebody else, you're going to need Joy-Cons, which are $80 right there. You're also going to need, just right there, $80 for the Joy-Con, right? And if you want another...
Brings you to $380.
$380, right? But we're talking about just the peripheral stuff to play with another person. $80 right there. And now, if you want to hook it up to more than one TV, right, it'd be nice if you could have another dock. And Nintendo's smart, so they sell additional docks, and those are $50. So that right there is $130 just on the accessories that come in the Switch box.
So we're up to $430 altogether is what we've spent.
Right.
But get it by in.
And we're not talking about tax or anything like that.
Right.
And then you also get the Joy-Con grip, which you slide the 2 Joy-Cons in if you're playing on a big TV. Those are selling in stores for $15.
Okay.
So that right there is
$445.
Okay, but alone 80, 30. I'm trying to do the math here. 80, 50. That's 130 plus 15. That's 145. So you're almost at half the price of another system. And then you also include the fact that you get all the cables. Another AC adapter for the Switch is $30. It's between $20 and $30.
Right, because you're gonna want another adapter because you don't want to be trading off charging.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So if you're just buying that alone, so that right there, you add that. Let's go 30. Let's go the high end of that. That's $175. And when you buy Joy-Cons, yeah, you get the Joy-Con, like the little things that slide on so that you have a wrist strap so you don't have a Wiimote going through your TV.
Right.
Each one of those is worth $8. So that's another $16. So just peripherals in the Switch box come to about $200. So the system itself, the brain of the system, is only $100 of the price based on what they're charging for peripherals.
Right.
So if you're going to buy all that stuff anyway, buy another system. That's all I'm saying.
And then make all the kids happy, right? I mean, like at that point.
I'm just saying, it's like I was only going to buy the one. I got two because I didn't know if I was going to be able to get one at GameStop to get it day one, and I got one at Target because it was the only place that was still available. That's not going to be here until Tuesday or Thursday of this coming week, right? So like if I were excited for it on the 3rd, I'm sitting here like twiddling my thumbs until at least the 6th of March.
Right.
So I'm
Boo.
like, which sucks, but then I'm like, well, I'll have two, and I can return one, or maybe I can sell one to a friend, maybe I can sell one to a stranger on the internet and make some extra money. But then thinking about it, I'm like, no, I think I'm going to keep it, because then I have a backup brain if something happens to mine, or once games like Splatoon or Mario Kart 8 come out, I will have two systems to play them on, instead of having to just use one system together.
Yeah.
I don't know. I did like a lot of cost analysis stuff. It's not worth it now because there are no games that have two Switch multiplayer out right now. Everything is showing off the fact that you can multiplayer with one system.
Yeah.
Maybe Super Bomberman R, but I don't know. I played through the Bomberman series. I did not get to Bomberman 64, which everybody says is the one that really defines it.
Yeah, that's kind of the game for me. Yeah, sorry, keep going.
No, that's completely fine. But like playing through 1 all the way through Super Bomberman 2, I'm like, I don't really dig this type of game. It's like a PC game where like, oh, you have to find the exit and kill everything to leave, and it's not my style of game. Then again, I love Bubble Bobble, and it's basically Bubble Bobble, but it's on a grid. It's not like platformy. So I don't know why it doesn't appeal to me.
I don't know, man. But for me, Bomberman was always the multiplayer 64 version where like you're just running around trying to blow each other up. Like that is Bomberman to me. I understand that there's a whole other game that everybody else is way into, but yeah. So this new Bomberman looks interesting to me, but
I love that it's 8 people. Can you imagine playing Bomberman with 7 other people on the board?
That's insane to me. But then what it reminded me of was that Pac-Man game that was like 4-person Pac-Man where you played against each other. That's what I was thinking of, and that insanity is so much fun. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to Bomberman.
It's something
Bomberman looks like one of those ones that I'll never buy myself, but man, I'll be really happy when a friend of mine gets it.
I feel like that was a hint, Seijin. I feel like that was the hintiest hint you've ever hinted at.
Just saying. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. But no, so it's fun. You know what the weird thing is? I'm excited about Zelda, and so far what I've played of it is great. But
I've heard that it's phenomenal.
Oh, it's very, very good. But also, they also came up with Horizon Zero Dawn this week. The same week that it came out, 3 days before, and that's what I was playing because Dale picked that up. And after we recorded last Monday, that's what I did. I played Horizon Zero Dawn, and they're so similar, and it's just like,
are they really?
oh my god!
Oh
it's
man,
like
that's amazing.
It's weird how similar they are, and I'm like, oh, if I hadn't played Horizon Zero Dawn, maybe Breath of the Wild would have hit me more. But I think that the reason why everybody's raving about Breath of the Wild, and the reason why I'm willing to rave about Breath of the Wild, is that they finally changed the Zelda formula to a point where it's almost unrecognizable. It feels like other games.
Okay.
Like a lot of like, you have unlimited bombs, and I know that that's a stupid thing to really enjoy, but dear God, do I really enjoy that I have unlimited bombs.
Yeah, that's amazing. No. That's a great thing to enjoy in a Zelda game. Are you kidding me? I mean, like that was one of the hardest things to figure out in like Link to the Past and stuff like that was like, is now the time to break this wall open or not? Because I've only got 3 bombs on me, and who knows what else I'm going to come across.
Oh, my God. And it becomes an even bigger issue when you look at the randomization. And I'm like, if I break this wall, I know that there's one treasure chest behind it. But then I have to hope that I find more bombs. Or if I save this bomb, I can break a wall that has 5 items behind it. What do I do?
Right.
And then ultimately you go do the 5-1 because that's the smarter play, and then it's all like 1 rupees in the chess, and I'm like,
and the thing at the bottom was the hook shot you needed to.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. All I'm looking for is the hook shot. I can't find it. Oh, remember that room you didn't bomb earlier? Yeah, that's where that is.
Oh man, yeah. So you got the Switch, huh? So
I got the Switch. I have been playing on it. The thing is that I got Zelda from Amazon, and it didn't arrive until late yesterday. So what I've put more hours into is Shovel Knight. Now we love Shovel Knight. Save Report loves Shovel Knight. Hashtag the Save Report loves Shovel Knight. And screw them, because of course I was going to buy it. I've bought Shovel Knight on literally every platform it's available on except for Amazon Fire because I don't have one. But I've paid more money for Shovel Knight than any other game, including Super Mario World that I've bought 7 times. But
they keep putting Shovel Knight out on different platforms.
Not only do they keep putting Shovel Knight on different platforms, Spectre Knight's campaign, because like the whole thing of Shovel Knight is it's one of the real Kickstarter victory stories.
Yeah,
like you want to point to like
Kickstarter darling, really kind of like.
And the whole thing is that like if we raise this money, we'll give you 3 more campaigns, and they've made good on it, which is the thing that blows me away. So I have been waiting ever since I finished the Plague Knight campaign. I have been dripping with saliva for the excitement of playing Spectre Knight's campaign because of just how much it changed it. Man. Dripping with what?
Anticipation.
But it was. So I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for it. And what they did was they made it so the Spectre Knight campaign is a month exclusive to the Nintendo Switch before it releases to all the other platforms.
Oh, ooh, classy.
Yeah. So like good for you guys. I respect it. It's marketing. It's all this stuff that you have to do in order to make yourself relevant in the world, and it totally worked for me. Like, I might not have opened the Switch that I bought. I might have sat on it and waited. If it wasn't known to me that day one with the Switch, I could download Shovel Knight and play through a brand new campaign.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the way that we were talking about Nintendo liking to throttle their numbers coming into the States, right?
Yeah.
Like, you could have sat on that Switch, and in a couple of weeks, when there ain't no Switches around and everybody wants one, you could have sold that thing for $200 extra, right?
Exactly.
But fuck that, Shovel Knight.
But Shovel Knight, and I'm $25 more down for a game that I've already spent at least $100 on. But I love it. Shovel Knight's a game. Go out there, buy it. Like I told people, it was available real cheap last week, but it's only $25, and you get.
It's still only 15, I think.
No, it went up to 25 yesterday. Friday.
Bastards.
This past weekend. As soon as it was available on the Switch for $25, that became the new price point for Shovel Knight. Which is why I did that PSA to be like, go out and get it right now while it's $10. Because you'll get all of the same content as if you pay $25 going forward.
You know, I was going to say I'm surprised that PlayStation hasn't swooped in and made it a Plus exclusive 1 month yet, but this is why, is because they keep being able to put new versions out and raising the price on the damn thing.
Exactly. Or they put out new content and people who have never heard of it, the internet like jumps for joy whenever new content comes out. It's also like an interesting marketing campaign for it because they don't have to dump any real marketing into it. They just put together such a quality game that when any news come out that we're adding something to it, the internet jumps for joy at it, and people go out and like, oh, what is this thing that everybody's talking about?
Are we going to say we're surprised that one of the best marketing techniques is to just make a good product? Is that what we're...
It's not surprising. It's just, why don't more people do it, see? I walked into a Target this past weekend, and everybody that I walked by, every kid that I passed had a Lego in their hands. Every kid was buying Legos at Target.
Yep.
And I'm like, you know why? Because Lego is a quality product.
Yeah.
Everybody loved Lego.
And that Batman wasn't bad.
No. No Batman sets, I'll be honest. It was all Star Wars Legos. So, I mean, take from that whatever you want, but...
Well, I'm glad that you're enjoying your time, though. I mean, with Shovel Knight again and with the Switch and stuff like that. How do you feel about like some of the stuff that we talked about? Like, does it feel like any of the stuff is any of the hardware is like cheap or anything like that? Or
no, not at all. In fact, I'm holding the Pro Controller right now, and if the price were lower, because the Pro Controller is a $70 controller, I could see it easily supplanting the Microsoft 360 the Xbox 360 controller as the preferred controller of people.
I mean, can you do all of it? One of the reasons that the 360 controller was as popular as it was is because you could hook it up to anything and it would work.
Right.
Does
I haven't really
Nintendo
tried with that stuff, but I mean, you could do it with the Pro controller. From the Wii U.
We've like figured out like getting Wiimotes connected to computers and stuff too. So like it's probably not impossible. I'm just wondering how easy it is because like I was saying with the 360 controller, you just USB connection right into your computer and boom, you were done.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
But so I mean, I can't speak to it yet. I haven't tried it. I've been busy playing it with the Switch, but it is something I'm definitely going to try out because. I mean, the quality on it is very nice, and the bumpers are nice, because I think that's the only problem I have with the 360 controller, because even though I never owned a 360, you're right, I own a 360 controller because it was just the perfect PC gamepad.
Yep.
But I still hate the bumpers on it. I do not like the L1R ones.
Yeah, the L1R ones, they feel it's kind of hard to tell sometimes when you're like pressing down on them and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I get you.
And I've taken one apart, and like the reason why is that like, it's just plastic. Like, there's no spring or anything like that. Like,
right.
It's just like, yeah, like, kind of apply pressure to this plastic and hope it doesn't break.
Woohoo! Quality product.
Yeah, but no, it all feels quality. Joy-Cons are a little small. I'll say that.
Okay. How is the stuff that I was worried about, the stuff in the center of the Joy-Cons? Like,
I haven't brought myself to play like that yet. That is something I'm planning to do tonight, but I've held them like that. It's not hella comfortable. I will say that.
It doesn't look like it would be.
Like, don't worry, Siege. Well, like here's big news. Like, we were going to talk about it a little bit later. I'm coming to you this week. Yeah. Like, you're listening to this episode. As you're listening to this episode, if you downloaded it on Monday, I am in my car. I am driving to Ohio right now to hang out with Siegen, and the Switch is in tow. So like he hinted real heavily at Bomberman because I guess I gotta buy Bomberman now so that we can try out Bomberman.
Look, man, I'm not gonna push for that, but
I got it. It was a wink and a nudge from a million miles away. Also, I'll be driving 1,000,000 miles just to see Siegen. No, regular things. And also, we'll probably have like some extra bonus content because we'll be together. So keep your eyes to the skies for stuff from the Stay Report all throughout the week.
Oh, yes. I just had a great idea of some stuff that we can do over here together. Yeah, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. Let's see. What else was big this week before we move on to our topics for the day? Oh, I know. Somebody had a coming out party this week. I don't know. How do we get into this?
Oh, what an interesting topic to bring it up. Yeah, Logan's finally out there. Everybody knows that he's. No. I'm mad at Siegen because he hasn't seen Logan yet.
No.
While I'm driving to Ohio, Siegen will be seeing Logan so that we can finally discuss it.
I did have a not so important spoiler spoiled for me, but there's apparently a Deadpool 2 teaser along with this.
Oh yeah, and it's sort of the best part of the movie. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's not the best part of the movie because the movie, just spoilers. Like no spoilers. No, without saying spoilers, I may never need to see another X-Men film, another superhero film, and I might never watch another movie again because that's how perfect Logan was for me. It was such an amazing cinematic experience. And I'm just like, every movie will be held up. Every movie, not just X-Men superhero movies, but every film I see will be held against Logan for the foreseeable future.
Fantastic! I'm so excited.
Like, I don't know. That's the biggest praise I think I can give to this film, right?
Well, you're not the only one giving it that kind of praise, too, man. Like, we should definitely point that out. I have not seen it yet. I have my ticket is already bought. I'm going tomorrow afternoon. So by the time you faithful listeners are listening to this, I will have seen it. But I mean, it's hitting big. I mean, in a lot of ways, I'm super excited, and in one very big way, I'm actually a little worried.
Oh, yeah, well, yes. Do you want to talk about that very big way that you're actually worried? Again, there's not going to be any spoilers for Logan. I promise that. So, but
my concern is, and I don't know if you and I are sharing the same one here, but with the success of Deadpool last year, and now this hitting like it is, Fox Marvel might not be dead after all.
That is true, but that is 100% true. And honestly, if they're smart. If Fox Marvel is smart, they will capitalize on how big their cachet is to get a higher payday from Disney.
Yes.
I mean, like that's what I would want to have happen. Because also, like, we can talk about how big a freaking windfall Deadpool was for Fox Marvel, and we can talk about what Logan is, but there's a valley between those two movies that I like to call Apocalypse. Because X-Men Apocalypse was fucking garbage. I forget that it existed.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I was somebody that didn't even really enjoy Days of Future Past, so like Apocalypse was even like an even bigger whiff for me, because like I was already not in the mood for it, and then it just ended up being what it ended up being, and so like you're right, like forgettable is the nicest thing I can probably say about that movie from me. So
yeah,
forgettable.
Well, forgettable is like it says enough. Let's move on, because Dad said if I don't have anything nice to say.
Yeah. So what this does, though, for Fox Marvel is it puts them in a position to do something kind of unique that might actually save them and would actually be kind of nice as a viewer. For them to focus on one-person, character-driven stories, right? Like, everybody is trying to make the next Avengers. DC is trying to put together the Justice League as fast as possible. Fox was trying to pump out X-Men movies and Fantastic Four movies, anything that had a big team with lots of big action scenes and all this other stuff in it. Nobody is focusing on the dramatic one character comic book movie, right?
Except for Marvel. I mean, like, let's be Marvel. Well,
what Marvel does, though, is Marvel, as we can see, is they're slowly starting to make they're big movies. They're not small movies, right? Like, even Ant-Man, when you look at it, is not a small film. It's the smallest one that they've made in a while. But if you look at something like that compared to Deadpool, or even Logan, which I haven't seen yet, but compared to one that I have, something like Deadpool, where Deadpool was really just like 5 characters, and 3 of them were really just side characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, I could argue the same thing for Ant-Man. I mean, like, it's a four-hander Ant-Man. It's Hank Pym, Lily Evangeline, I can't think of her character's name, Paul Rudd, and Corey Stoll's bad guy. Like, it was those 4.
But also Paul Rudd's like whole team of friends.
Yeah,
too,
but that whole team of friends is like, but they're like
but
one dude.
Like
they're like your fifth. They're like your fifth man. Is that those 3 guys?
That's almost like completely absent from like something like Deadpool, where really it is just him, and T.J. Miller is maybe the next person. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I would give it to the girl. I can't. All I could think of his characters that she played. I can't think of the actress's name. She played a pretty big role in that film too.
Yeah.
But you're right. You're right. They do need to. But I still think that Marvel is the place to go. And that is what Fox has done. They were smart enough to say that, like, okay, we tried to jump right into these whole thing. Here's a big fucking team. Here's a giant world type movie. They're not working. Let's look at Marvel and see where it worked. Oh, there was an Iron Man movie that was really a 4-hander. Oh, there was a Hulk movie that, even though people didn't like, it was a 4-hander. Like, they've grown to it. They've given us time to meet these characters. Thor is like 4 dudes.
Right.
Like that's what they were doing, and that's the type of stuff you need. You can't jump a universe on me. And also, let me talk about the X-Men for a second. I love the X-Men. I'm a big X-Men fan. I lived in the 90s, right?
Right.
The X-Men didn't start to really work for me until I started to get into, like, the one-shot, like, here's 6 issues, just Jubilee. Here's 4 on Sabretooth. Here's 12 issues on Nightcrawler. When you took them alone and made them stand on their own, that is when they became stronger characters.
Oh, yeah, my way in was definitely Logan, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Wolverine. Like, going in through, like, the Wolverine stories and then using the X-Men as side characters, and that kind of really is what taught me about them. And then eventually things like getting really into Deadpool and Cable and stuff like that. But all of that was peripheral stuff. As far as mainline X-Men go, I didn't actually start reading mainline X-Men comics until really the last couple of years. Because when they did the whole revamp and they brought like the young team back and stuff like that, literally all new X-Men. Like that line is really where I started reading the X-Men comics. The only one before that I had ever really read was the Cure, that the Whedon brothers had written.
The Astonishing X-Men, 1 through 12.
Yeah, just that arc really was really the only X-Men arc I'd ever read.
I gotta be honest, that's the only straight up X-Men. That is the only X-Men I read consistently. I bought all the time and was totally into, because it was so compelling. And even in a book that had so many characters, they still found those little moments to give like, here's Emma Frost for half the book, and then we'll move the story forward. And also putting it through Kitty Pryde. I'm just a huge Kitty Pryde fan.
Mm-hmm.
I'll admit that.
Man.
I have no problem admitting that.
Yeah. The Star-Lord Kitty Pryde storylines that have been going on. That was the other thing that really got me specifically into X-Men. Is I love Guardians of the Galaxy. Just love the series and all the and the old stuff, the new stuff, all that stuff, right? And so following Peter Quill and the Star-Lord stuff, and they did an entire when they revamped the comic for the new Marvel Now stuff.
Yep.
Their method to get people into Guardians of the Galaxy was like every arc was a team up with a different group or person, right? So one of the very early ones was they team up with the X-Men, with the all-new X-Men, because there's a whole bunch of weird time travel stuff that ends up fucking with time and space, and so the Guardians of the Galaxy have to get involved. And like, so Peter Quill and Kitty Pryde have this wonderful relationship, and I ended up learning so much about Kitty Pryde through that, right? Like, that's how I get into the X-Men stuff, is honestly like as peripheral characters.
Exactly. Yeah, it works. You're 100% right with that. No one's you're right. That's
so like having a movie dedicated to them is already a tough sell on me, and then like it worked really well with X-Men and X-Men 2, right? And then things go off the rails because, again, I don't follow the stuff enough to care about like all the weird stuff that they put into Origins, and then like the stuff I did care about was left out, right? And all that. It's like there's just a whole bunch of weirdness that happens there.
I will 100% saying what you just said, right? Like I really liked X-Men and X-Men 2. I'm not a huge fan of X2. I will really? Be the person to say that, and that's weird because everybody loves that movie. I think I've only seen it straight through one time, and it's just I'm like, yeah, okay, like it
it's
just
very
felt
much a product of the late 90s, early 2000s comic book movie. Like that's one
right.
of my biggest issues with it, is that it's not a great movie, but within the context of when it came out, it's hard for me not to have a soft spot for it because it did so well within the world that it was working in. You know, the same goes for Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
Right.
You know, like those movies are great as a product of that era of comic book filmmaking. They are great examples of those movies, but held up now against things like Winter Soldier or something like that, they just don't stand a chance, right?
The issue for me is holding it up against the first X-Men film.
Really?
Because that first X-Men film, I really, really enjoyed. Like, almost in spite of myself. Like, I'm like, oh, X-Men are a movie now. I didn't like that they didn't have the spandex costumes. Like, everything was like, and then I saw that movie, and I'm like, this is awesome. I didn't see the first X-Men in theaters. I watched it in my house with my father on a rainy Saturday afternoon. And we watched it, and we're like, that was actually pretty good. I can't believe how good that film was.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that movie was like I said, for its time, it was a fantastic surprise for a movie to work, for a comic book movie with that many people in it to work as well as it did was awesome.
Yeah, it does, and it works.
When's the last time you went back and watched it? I'm curious.
The first one?
Yeah.
I want to say I watched it last year. It was on some point last year.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, they're stupid.
There is.
Do you know what happens to a frog when it gets hit by lightning? Same thing that happens to everything else.
That movie.
Like, it is. Like, it's totally a product of, like, we want to self-correct from what happened with Batman and Robin. We don't want to have another Batman and Robin in our hands. But also, that's what people expect from these movies. So that movie was charged with walking a very delicate line. Mm-hmm. And it walks it masterfully. Even going back and watching it. And also, but the whole thing that I was going to bring up is that that movie is Wolverine's movie. He's the XP for the viewer.
Right,
and
exactly.
That's
because
awesome.
He's the one brought in. He's the one you follow, right? Like
And that is why the kind of other movies sort of fall off and aren't interesting. I mean, X2, he's another XP. It's all about him. But The Last Stand, I think one of the reasons why it's so reviled is that he's not the push of that movie. If anything, there is no main character in that movie, right?
Because you think it's Scott at first, and then he dies an hour into it, whatever the point of that was, and then it's not Wolverine, right? And then you think, oh, it must be Phoenix, except that you don't really follow her for the first 2/3 of that movie, and then suddenly it's all about her in the last third. Sorry,
right? But she's more of an antagonist than a protagonist,
right.
So it's like It's not even like Magneto is the main character, maybe,
right.
I don't know. Or is it Warren Worthington III? Is it Angel? Oh, Ben Foster.
I wanted it to be Angel. It should have been Angel. But,
it really should have been, especially with what that story was framed about. XB's work, you know? Like, I'm sorry, like, I know it feels so cliche to have that, but to have a person that I can ascribe my misunderstanding onto in a film, it works. It works for a lot of people.
Right. I mean, it takes a very deft hand to make a film that doesn't have that kind of introduction for people, because you have to be able to introduce the entire world to your audience without making it seem weird to your characters, because like otherwise you have these characters that suddenly have these weirdly expositional phrases that they're saying, like when they answer a phone and they're like, "Hey bro, what's up? Yeah, of course I'll be at mom and dad's thing tonight. I love you, brother. By the way, this is my brother."
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah.
Like,
oh, Wolverine, come on. You're aware that there are over 50,000 students all registered at the Xavier Institute for Gifted Mutants here in Westchester, New York. Here comes Emma Frost. She's a good person now. I know she was bad before, but she's reformed.
Exactly. So you get all this stunted dialogue. If you don't have that character to ask those questions, you just end up with really weird.
Can I tell you something though? I could make that work because Wolverine's always losing his memories. I could probably write a scene like that totally would work. Oh, Wolverine, now that you're back. That'd work in like a Deadpool thing, though, because the person would need to be aware of that kind of thing.
Exactly. You would need somebody that also can handle that sort of stuff. That's the other thing, is once it's not on a page, once it's on film, you also are very dependent on your actors making that stuff work.
Yes.
And so, like, you have some really good choices in guys like Hugh Jackman and even James Marsden, like as Scott in those first few movies and stuff like that, and Halle Berry. Like, they do a really good job with those characters, making them worth watching. You know, versus something like a Fantastic Four where it's just impossible to watch those movies and take them seriously, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not even that those people are necessarily bad actors. Because if you remember, like, the first Fantastic Four movies, we're talking about Chris Evans, who ends up going on to be
Captain freaking America. He's in so many comic book movies. How many? Okay, here's a question for you.
I think it's 5 different comic book characters he has played.
He played Casey Jones. No, that's not what I was going to ask you. Casey Jones in TMNT. He played one of the guys in The Losers.
He is also in hold on, let's think about this.
And then he's
Cap and he's
Human Torch and Cap. So that's 4. I think it's 4.
I think there's one more. If you go back and look over his things, I think there's one more where it was a comic book movie where he was a guy, but it was like a weird one, like The Losers. Like it was like a one-off comic that.
Yeah, it's like Ryan Reynolds is 4 too, which I think is great. So. If we're just going to talk about it. Because the R.I.P.D. Remember R.I.P.D.? I have the comic upstairs. Right.
I do remember R.I.P.D., man. I had that video game. It was atrocious.
Oh, Jesus. That's my response to that. Ugh. I'm glad I went out and bought the comic because the comic was really good.
The comic is amazing, which is why that movie got greenlit in the first place. Yeah. Comic book movie. So Logan, though.
Logan's great. Oh, I was going to talk about other comic books that I'm reading because I just got into something very cool that's going on. But no, Logan is very good, but I don't want to talk about it anymore because I don't want to risk spoiling anything for you. But also, I was not afraid of what you just said. I was not afraid of what you said, where like that Fox Marvel might be back. I'm more afraid of R-rated comic book movies and them not understanding that like that R rating is not carte blanche to do whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
It's just carte blanche to make a more believable world. A world where a guy who has swords uses those swords to cut people up.
Yeah.
Or like in a world where like if a guy has a sword and he cuts off somebody's arm, that there's blood involved. It doesn't become stakes. That's what an R-rated comic book movie should do.
Is it just allows you to have the proper stakes for that character. So like something like a Deadpool or a Wolverine, or like if they want to do some like weird stuff down the line, like a Lobo or something like that, like you need that R rating because that's what works. Even with Cable, that makes total sense, right?
Yeah.
But if and when they make my new Howard the Duck movie, I don't need it to be R.
I need it to be R. I need the new Howard the Duck movie to be R rated because he's a foul.
You just want more duck tits.
He is a foul-mouthed foul. That's why. Because I'm proud of that. No, but because Howard the Duck lives in the dirtiest, grimiest part of the world. He honestly does. If you're the kind of person who's going to say a Lobo movie needs an R rating, then of course, Howard the Duck needs an R rating.
No,
it does,
no.
dude. Okay, let's talk about the amalgam universe. Let's talk about the amalgam universe where all of the characters from DC and Marvel joined, and like Wolverine and Batman were a thing. Lobo and Howard the Duck came together because they are the two closest related of those two universes. And I know that that's like a crazy thing to think about, and it's, I mean, like, because Lobo's a fucking crazy person. Let's talk about it.
Here's how Howard the Duck works, though. Howard the Duck works when it is edgy, but like PG-13 edgy. That's when Howard the Duck works for me. Not when it's actually edgy. Like when it starts actually getting into like swear. No. I want him to be taking the F word and turning it into some weird duck pun.
He would just say, "Well, duck this." He would just autocorrect. You know what you do? If you're writing the script for Howard the Duck, you do it on your iPhone so that every fuck becomes duck.
And that's exactly what I want that movie to be.
Right, but that's not what DuckTales is. Like, that's fun. Like, I understand where you're coming from. I get it.
I pray for a PG-13 DuckTales movie. That would be amazing.
I just think that, like, how many Howard the Duck comics have you read? Is a real question I have for you.
I don't know, man. Like, I read a long run for a while when him and She-Hulk were together. The new stuff that came out was I read the first issue, but I didn't stick with. But a lot of my Howard the Duck stuff was from when I was a kid. The stuff that I just had from like handed down.
Yeah,
so,
all
like,
the stuff that. So okay, so we've been experienced to mostly the same. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just like issues like here or there. So I didn't really have many full stories.
Right, but I don't think
Actually,
if you
honestly, you know, the biggest one that I've ever read is the Marvel Zombies Howard the Duck like weirdness like.
I love it, Stephen. I do. I love it. Honestly, I do. No, I get where you're coming from. I understand what you're saying, but I feel like Howard the Duck is someone who works with stakes, though. Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about. Is that like, yeah, he's not gonna just because he says I would want Howard the Duck to be able to say fuck. Like that doesn't mean that he needs to. I just think that I would like the option in that movie.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. I mean, like, also, how often do you care about the rating on a movie?
It really depends. First of all, like, if anything gets a G, my interest is piqued. So, like, you know what I mean?
I do.
Like, because, like, nothing gets a G nowadays. So, like, that's always really interesting to me. And then, like, it really is only when we start talking about, like, movies that I'm wholly invested in that I'll pay attention to the rating because it gives me some clue of, you know, what you're in for, right? If Logan had gotten that PG-13 rating, I would have been speculating a lot about that, you know?
Yeah, you're right, because the second I heard Logan had an R rating, I'm like, so I'm not going to look up anything else. I don't want to know anything more about this movie.
I don't know how much it matters so much as it's just it helps me figure other stuff out. You know what I mean? Like I've never seen a movie just because it had like a PG-13 rating, and I just was like, well, that's not going to work for me.
Right. Unless you were like a 12-year-old. Like that's when it matters. It matters until you can see any movie you want.
Yeah.
So we do live in I mean, that's something I'm a firm believer in because I think it's so odd, the rating system. I mean, especially the people who put it together. I mean, like, let's not talk about the Illuminati stuff that's on display with the MPAA. Like, it's just, there's too freaking much.
Right.
And I don't want them to come find us. But it does.
If they want to hire us, I will totally sit around and rate movies in a secret club if you want me to.
I don't know, man. I would
cut off all ties to the rest of the world if that's what it takes to sit around in a room all day, watch movies, and get paid thousands of dollars to do it. Yes.
Okay, we now know Sejin's price. If you're out there, MPAA.
No, I'm happy that this is recorded and out there in space. I want everybody to know how cheap I am.
Good. I'm glad. No, I mean, I get where you're coming from. It's just, I don't know. And a rating like so affects what the market gain is. Really what I want to have happen, and I don't know if it could happen, is I want Logan to make more money than Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Oh, that's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. And also, what's the other one? Jurassic World. I'd be okay if it made more money than Jurassic World.
I don't think
either of those things is really going to happen. There's no believable thing of it. But what I want to have happen is I want a movie with an R rating to really bring in the money.
Mm-hmm.
Because it never has.
No, they never do. And I mean, that's just the fact of life, man. Like, people just kids can't get into R-rated movies on their own. So they will never make enough money. The end. Like, the problem is all of those parents that just drop their kids off to go and see a movie probably don't even care whether or not they go to see an R-rated film, but it doesn't matter. The theater will not let them buy a ticket. And so that money just never makes it to R-rated films. So that's just never going to happen.
My favorite thing about that is how anecdotal it was without being an anecdote.
Right. But I mean, unfortunately, it's just it is the thing. It is the number one reason why an R-rated movie will never make money, is because as a parent, you cannot just drive up, drop your kid off at the mall, and drive away. You'd have to physically get out of the car, go buy the ticket with them, which for a lot of people is not worth it. You know what I mean?
And then sometimes they will require the parent to be with you.
And that's also.
And I'm like, that doesn't make sense, right? Because no, it's just. It needs parental permission, and this parent bought me my ticket.
I will say that I kind of appreciate that there's a parent there if there's like a 13-year-old in my R-rated film that can't handle that shit. You know what I mean?
I guess.
I would like to have a parent there, you know?
I don't know. I mean, that's just so weird to me. I've been watching R-rated movies since I was 3 years old, though. So, like, it's never really been a big thing for me. Like, there was that little bit, like, it was a year, I want to say, where my parents were like, no, you can't see that movie. It's rated R. And I'm like, well, why can't I see that movie? I've been seeing these movies, and they're like, yeah, but you're older now, so, like, you need to wait. Like, it's like I was just on the cusp of beginning to understand the kind of things that were going on in the R-rated movies, like having real-world stakes attached to them. So then they're like, well, we want you to be able to understand them when you start seeing them. And then, like, that just got dropped a year later.
Yeah. Well, and, like, part of this also speaks to the whole problem that Hollywood and everybody has, where the success of a movie seems to only be based on its ability to come out in a theater and do really well on its first weekend. The end. Right?
Yeah, that's it.
But, like, there's tons of movies that do so much better in DVD release. There's tons of movies that do so much better because they get picked up by HBO for a package for a month, and then everybody sees it on HBO and starts talking about it. You know what I mean? Netflix now has completely changed the game in that way, where, like, there's all this talk about next year, like, these movies that did really, really well at, like, South by Southwest and Cannes and all this stuff, and everybody's like, where are they going to go? Where are they going to go? And then Netflix picks them up, and people are, like, disappointed. Because they're like, oh, this sucks because now it won't be in a theater, so nobody will ever talk about how great it is. And it's like, no, we can still talk about how great it is when we watch it on Netflix. Like, people talk about it as if it's some big downside to these movies and films. They still get seen, so, like, why?
The big downside of it for me is, and I will use two Anna Kendrick movies that I saw within the last year. Last October, I saw a movie called The Hollers. And that was Jim from The Office. I can think of his last name. John. Thank you. John Krasinski wrote and directed it, and like Margot Martindale was in it, and Anna Kendrick, and I can't remember who played the dad. Not Alan Arkin. The Richard Jenkins.
Richard Jenkins.
Richard Jenkins played the father, and also Charlotte Copley was in it. So, a really good cast, right? And it came to the cinema near me, and I'm like, awesome. This is a testament to how these type movies are now getting releases in theaters. Because people are saying what you said. Like, I don't want to just watch it on VOD. I want to get the theater experience with it. But I'm going to be honest with you about The Hollers, and this is a personal experience of it. That was kind of movie that, like, was destined to be Netflix or HBO. And then people still talk about it. It really didn't have the cachet to actually be in a theater. I would imagine that it lost money by having a theatrical run.
Well, and that's definitely a conversation to have as an audience member seeing it afterwards, right?
Yeah.
But, like, to talk about whether or not a movie, I don't know.
No, I mean, you're right. Like,
whether or not there's some more artistic merit to a movie just because it comes out in a cinema and just because it does really well on the first weekend, right? Like, there's plenty of stuff that we've seen that doesn't do well on the first weekend that didn't even really come out in theaters for that long. That ends up actually being some of the more classic stuff that we talk about.
Well, like what Boondock Saints only became big because Blockbuster decided to rent it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like that movie was nothing, and then like people started finding it at Blockbusters, and now suddenly it's a thing. Richard Linklater was Richard Linklater because of people going in and renting his movies.
Right.
Like that was the whole market for it. So you're right. Like, you shouldn't discount a film because it's not going to get a theatrical release. That being
said, or because
it
doesn't do well, and it's the bigger thing is that just because it doesn't do well on its opening weekend, it somehow is instantly written off as a failure of a film.
Exactly.
It's like, no. I mean, financially, yes, we could talk about how maybe it's not going to make its money back or whatever, but like that doesn't mean the film doesn't have some merit to it.
Right, but we're talking about a failure as a film. But it's not really a failure as a film. It's a failure monetarily. It's a failure. And they're not wrong in saying that, Siege. And if a film cannot make back the cost that was put into it, it's not necessarily wrong to say that this film is a bit of a failure.
That's true, but not to write off any of the artistic merit to it.
Right, no, and that's the problem, is that money and art are inextricably linked, and that needs to be something that just gets pulled apart.
Right.
But the other thing, I'm just going to talk about it because you talk about that that first weekend. It's fucking with marketing. Because I also saw the day after we recorded last week, I got to see Table 19, which is another Anna Kendrick movie.
Another Anna Kendrick one. Stephen Merchant.
Yeah, come on, can you do it? Craig Robinson, Lisa Kudrow. Freaking, I can think of her name in the movie. She's in Nebraska. June Squibb.
Oh, June Squibb. That's right. Oh, man.
Like, great
what
cast.
What a delightful woman.
Yes, and she was, and that was...
fantastic actress, but also when she talks in, like, interviews and stuff, she is just delightful.
Okay, have you seen any marketing material for Table 19?
Just one preview that I had to go searching for. Like, I heard about it as a thing, and I had to go seeking it out.
What do you think that movie is? Like, if you had to put that into a genre, what do you think that genre is?
Kind of like a Breakfast Club style comedy.
Okay, so you're wrong. It's a heavy drama. Like, it's a heavy drama.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you.
So upbeat.
I thought it was going to be like these people at a wedding where they're not really wanted, getting into scraps and finding their own way.
Right.
Actually, Breakfast Club style comedy was a really good description of it based upon how it ended. But I'm not going to go into ending details on it. But that is a very good way to describe it. But you're expecting more comedy than is there. And it's really kind of heavy friggin' drama. And, like, that surprised me. But you know what? People are going to go out. They're going to expect the next fucking Wedding Crashers. Because that's how they're marketing it. It'll look like a good opening weekend.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It looked like it was like John Hughes does Wedding Crashers. That's what it looked like to me.
Bam. You should do this for a living. Like, if you can't get into the MPAA, if they don't, like, it would be super funny to me if while we're recording you just get, like, scooped up into a helicopter. But if that doesn't happen, then you could totally, like, sum up movies based on trailers for a living. John Hughes does the Wedding Crashers. Table 19.
I gotta do it like what's his name there? Not Gary Shandling. No, what's the
Gary Shandling. There? What?
No. The critic there with the Gene Shalit.
I thought you were talking about Jay Sherman. It stinks.
It stinks. Buy my book.
Buy my book.
Oh man. We fell down a rabbit hole on this one.
I don't even remember what we were talking about.
Comic books and then comic book movies and then the artistic merit of comic
I wanted to talk about comic books and the fact that, have you read Gwenpool at all?
No, I really want to. I did read some of Spider-Gwen. Spider-Gwen was really cool.
Okay, so here it is, Devin Decker PSA before we go any further. Gwenpool is not Gwen Stacy. Stop saying it. Stop thinking it. Gwenpool is a girl named Gwen Poole. Poole, like Patrick.
Right, but it is definitely a play on Spider-Gwen.
It is not a play on Spider-Gwen at all. I've read them. It is not the thing. I guess it's sort of like Spider-Gwen. You're right about that.
It is kind of like Spider-Gwen.
But she's not Gwen Stacy.
No, I know she's not Gwen Stacy.
But people don't know that. Like, people are like, yeah, she's Gwen Stacy. I'm like, no, so you haven't read them, right? Or you have read them and just, like, decided to, like, that part's not true, though.
But Deadpool, okay, so anybody that doesn't know this, Deadpool and Spider-Man have forever had a back and forth in which basically everybody mistakes Deadpool for Spider-Man all the fucking time, and he either takes advantage of that and pretends to be Spider-Man or gets very upset, depending on what's going on in the moment. The best ones are when he takes advantage of it and just pretends to be Peter Parker.
Oh, yes. Yes, they are.
So in that spirit, they decided to, with the success of Spider-Gwen, create a character called Gwenpool that, yes, is her own character. And I'm sure gets very upset when people confuse her for Gwen Stacy as well, much like the way that Wade gets upset when people confuse him for Peter.
I can't imagine Wade actually getting upset because he loves Spider-Man. But yeah, you're right. There are those ones where he's like, no.
He only gets upset when it's like his reputation is on the line, and he's like, no, god damn it, this is Deadpool doing this and not Spider-Man. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, a lot of after the fact stuff. You know what I always confuse Deadpool for though is Daredevil. All the time when I'm talking about I mean Deadpool, I'll say Daredevil. I get corrected a lot. So I mean,
that's kind of fair as well, though.
Yeah, I mean, they're both guys in red. Both of them are blind. Spoilers.
Well, yeah, they both
Daredevil. I could see the whole time. That's how I want Daredevil to end. Last Daredevil comic on his deathbed.
Actually, can see the entire time.
I could see the whole time.
Lie. Matt Murdock's just been a dick this entire time.
Do you know how easy it is to get around if you're blind in New York, but you can really see? What?
Yeah, I just wanted a parking space, man. That's all I wanted. It's so hard to get in New York.
Wait, that you drove? Yeah, like that really should have tipped people off that I could see. They saw, they didn't notice. But yeah, so Gwenpool, I highly recommend it. And they teased it in the end of the last one that Deadpool is going to be in the next story. So Wednesday cannot come fast enough for me.
Awesome.
Because that's when the new one drops.
Fantastic.
She's great. She's just so good.
Who's
and Miles Morales, I don't know who writes it. I gotta be honest. Dale's like, you need to read these, and dropped 12 comics on my desk. And I had a very slow Friday. So I sat and I just read 12 issues of Gwenpool last Friday.
That's awesome. That's fantastic, man.
Yeah, and I'm all about it now. So I highly recommend it. You're right though about that Gwenpool thing, but also little thing. Her and Miles Morales were in a book together, and that was fun. Shit. Especially because like Spider-Man team up with Gwenpool was just awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
have to check that out. For sure. Man. So, all right. So to take this back even further, the best part of all of this entire conversation started on what I thought was a joking representation of what I was saying, but now I don't know. I was talking about Disney's news.
Gosh, it disturbs me to see you, John, looking so down in the dumps. I cannot continue this, John. So just keep talking again.
No, okay, there it goes. I was gonna cut you off, but then I thought it's better to let him die on the vine. So Disney announced this week. Disney announced the director. We should be fair here. The way that it actually went down was the director for the film came out and said that they have kind of made it pretty blatant in the new Beauty and the Beast film that LeFou is actually gay. And has some type of relationship with Gaston. Whether or not it's reciprocated or not is yet to be seen. But that's basically the news that came out. Like, it's literally like 3 sentences the dude said. So there's really not much else to say about the actual stuff. However, the rest of the world has lost their fucking minds about this. Apparently.
Yeah, right? If you're looking for your mind right now, Lost and Found is full. So I'm sorry to hear that.
There are theaters that are refusing to show it, drive-ins and stuff like that. And, like, I think there's one in Alabama that was just like, not here.
We're done. Not happening. Not happening in Alabama.
I don't know. So I guess first off, Devin, you felt like you had to say something about this, right?
You know what I have to say about something? I don't ever consider the sexuality of characters. This is based off of somebody said, really? All these people never knew that LeFou was gay. He sings a song about him, for Christ's sakes. And they're talking about in the original film and the Broadway piece.
I'm gonna be entirely honest. I am very firmly in that camp of I was not surprised when they said this. I was like, yeah. I mean, like, it wasn't that I thought about it, but when they said it, it just made sense.
It's like, yeah, okay, I can believe it. And that I'm okay with. Like, I'm completely okay with revealing someone's sexuality. And it being something that makes sense, I love. Like, that's the moment it is. Like, I'm not upset that LeFou is gay, and I don't care. My life continues to go on. Just like if you told me right now, if you said, Devin, I'm gay, and you're Sejin, and I'm like, all right, well, so now Sejin's gay. Okay, where are we eating dinner? Because it doesn't affect where we can eat dinner, right? Well, like, do you want hot dogs now because you're gay? No, because that's not how it fucking works. You still like all the other stuff. It's just that you're not chasing women. You're chasing women. You're chasing men. I said you're not chasing women, you're chasing women. That was bad. But it doesn't change who you are. It shouldn't change who you are to me if you tell me you're gay.
No.
And
so
that's
your question being
my question being is like all these people who are like upset that people are upset about it. Like we live in a shit country. Like we do. We live in a shit world. Let's like not just leave it to the country. We live in a world where people are generally shitty. So there are going to be people who are upset about a Disney movie saying that this character is blatantly gay. Deal with it. And then there are people who aren't going to be able to deal with it. And stupidity. You know what that Alabama, those people who aren't showing it, dumb. Because you're basically saying, I don't want a blank check from you, Disney. Because you know how many people are going to go see that fucking movie?
Yeah. Like, and how many times people are going to go see it? I mean, like, it's going to be one of those movies that gets seen by a lot of people more than once. So that's going to make some money.
Like, it's going to make money. And you're just being like, nah, I'm not interested in that because of this. And on the one hand, I guess good for you having a moral code, but also fuck you. It's 2017. Deal with it. People are gay.
Yeah.
That was the rant, right? I don't think I've ever done a rant like that. But it's all this stuff on Facebook. I mean, and like we traffic in similar circles of theatrical people who are just like upset that people are upset. And it's like, what a waste of your energy. And of course, this is me being upset that people are upset, and I understand that. I understand the irony of what's going on here. But I almost don't get it. And also like pointing out like what you never saw that he was gay before, and it's like even if I saw it before, why is that something I'm thinking about? It's not like I don't watch every movie and like, okay, well, Jay is definitely straight. Silent Bob, he could be on the fence. Randall probably gay for Dante, and Dante definitely all about that veg. That's not. I don't do that when I'm watching movies, even movies that I've seen 100 times, like Clerks.
Yeah, but other people do, man. Like that's the answer to that. Is that's very much the kinds of conversations that go on. And like you and I have some stupid conversations about characters, you know? Like you know, think about it this way. How many times have you had the conversation who would win in a fight, Jason Voorhees or Chucky, right? Like you have these like weird hypothetical conversations, and when
that's a great conversation that we have literally never had. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, this is a promise. This is a promise where we actually have that discussion. Because now I'm thinking about it, and I don't have a clear answer. What we should do is we got to do like a March Madness setup, and we should just do like a 16 team setup and figure out who the best is. Right? I love this, Siegen. I am in love with this idea.
We'll set it up when you come and see me this week.
Perfect. Yeah, that's what that was the thing that you were excited about earlier, isn't it? It just like jumped in your head.
No, that wasn't. That's another thing.
I've got so many things. So many things. But and I guess you're right. Like it is the kind of stuff. Like all I could think of, and I hate this. Every time I see a movie with Wolverine, I think about something that you said completely by accident, and that was, you know how you wake up with morning wood? Do you think that like Wolverine wakes up and his claws are just extended?
It's a serious question, man.
It's a good question. I'm not gonna lie to you, right? Because it's all about muscles and contractions and all this, and it's like,
yeah.
And you said that, and like even watching Logan, which is like really good, and I was so in it. There was a moment where I'm like, "Fuck, Siegen."
I'm just saying, morning cuddles might suck if he accidentally Yeah.
Oh, you think it sucks to get? You think it sucks to get stuck in the leg with an erection? Try an adamantium claw.
Adamantium erection.
His penis is not made of adamantium, Siege.
Oh man.
Calming down, but no. So it's just one of these things where I'm like, I kind of have a problem that so many people nowadays want their fandom theories confirmed. Does that make sense?
Oh, that's a whole other conversation for sure. And you know who actually played really well with that? Sherlock played really well with that. Have you watched Sherlock at all?
No, I haven't watched a single episode, and I've been told to watch Sherlock for years.
So they do the Reichenbach Falls storyline in season 2, but as you're now aware, there is a season 3 and a season 4, right?
Yes.
So they have to do the whole like how did he survive thing, and what they decided to do was rather than ever give a solid answer, is they just like gave like the middle finger to the fans. And they just like filmed a whole bunch of fake fan theory versions and then kept discrediting them. And so like they do this really amazing thing with that exact mindset, right? Of like fans always seem to want their theories confirmed. They want these answers. And basically Mark Gatiss and what's his nuts there from Doctor Who and stuff like that.
Steve,
Decided he was just that they were just not going to give that to anybody, right? And like so, and you're right, man. Like as fans, we feel like entitled to these answers sometimes. That like
I don't. I would like to put that out, but like fans do. They feel like entitled to. I'm going to blame strong bad email. That is what I'm going to blame.
Really?
Yeah.
I've actually got another person blame.
I'd love to hear it, but I blame that because that was a show that was like purely generated based on submitted content, right? So people would be like, yo, what's the origin of the stick? Why is it a place where you always hang out? And like he subverted that enough times where he's like, why do you guys always want to know the origins of stuff that's not important? Right? But they would then also give you the origin of the thing that's not important. So like it's this sort of thing where like we admit that like this is the nature of our beast, but like so people started like and that was big. Homestar Runner was big. I don't think that anyone can deny how big Homestar Runner was in the early internet times. I mean, Trogdor was in the finale of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, for God's sakes, right?
Right.
And like having a show like that where like people legitimately asked a question and then a whole episode's worth of content was devoted to it sort of gave this credence to having a theory and then having it proven or denied. And then Lost also fed into that. And that's really what it is.
So
but what's
it's funny that you mentioned Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Because I think you're talking about something that gets started way back with Star Trek and Star Wars, where you end up with these camps of dudes that are sitting around writing fan fiction that ends up becoming the fiction because Star Trek specifically has like all of these weird ups and downs in its popularity. So like in its down periods, that's the only stuff that's being produced. Then the same thing happens with Star Wars. And then you have all this stuff with like solidifying canon and the creators coming out and saying what they accept and what they don't and all this other stuff, right? So like that's where you kind of really start to see like fans out there demanding that their stuff actually be like blessed by the writer and stuff like that.
God, no,
but
never.
the guy that really drives this home is Joss Whedon. When Buffy ends and when Angel ends and him going on to be like, all right, fans really want more seasons of this, but I can't do it on TV. So let me give you comic books. Let me give you motion movies. Let me give you webisodes, right? And he like does all of this stuff to fill in the blanks for fans because it's so many people want it. And at the same time, the internet and all that sort of stuff is becoming really popular and comic books are starting to resurge again as popular, right? And so he takes advantage of those mediums. So like Joss Whedon kind of comes in and he creates the Whedonverse. And that's what you're talking about, is every fan out there now wants every one of their fandoms to be its own universe with all of these answers to it. You know?
Right. And then, well, let's not discount what Marvel did for that, too. I mean, Joss Whedon's involved in that a little bit because he did Avengers. And that's really why, though, because he's perfect at bringing together universes.
Well, right. And so you look at something like Doctor Who. What's really interesting is if you look at the old stuff from back in the 70s and 80s, they blatantly don't give you any satisfactory answers. When stuff happens, it's for nonsensical reasons. It's never to appease fans. There's a ton of stuff that actually fans hated for back then, right?
No, yeah,
But then you see
I've talked to Zach Dyer.
And the entire series the entire new series is basically dedicated to filleting the fans.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's the like,
look who we brought back! Right. This race of aliens.
So if you look at that and you look at the weird stuff and like the 90s that kind of came around from like everybody trying to write Star Wars stories that would be officially canon and people trying to write Star Trek episodes that like filled in the blanks on what happened to characters when they weren't in that episode, right? Like you get that stuff all the time from that stuff. And then Whedon comes in and basically is like from the ground up builds that kind of universe. And basically that's what every fan expects now because
yeah,
Whedon
you're right. That's not wrong. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like I for one love that sort of stuff. I love shared universes. I love the idea of like that there might be more going on, but I don't need every question answered. I just like the idea of being hinted at that there are answers out there for me to actually think about. You know what I mean? I guess
what I don't like is I don't like that there are people out there like it's fun to have answers, right? Like I understand where you're coming from. Like it's fun to have a question answered, but I don't like that. Okay, this is the one that just boggles my mind every time. That the director had to come out and confirm that the merchant at the beginning of Aladdin is the genie in disguise. No fucking shit is the genie in disguise. I saw the movie.
Yeah, but not everybody thinks in that way, right? What's really funny is...
I don't know, I'm sorry.
To put a cap on this, the really funny thing today is I watched Seinfeld a lot, right? Hulu Plus with no commercials, so like it's just on constantly. And I watched 2 episodes in a row today. I watched the puffy shirt episode in which George becomes a hand model.
Yep.
And then he says something in that made me think of an earlier episode, The Contest, right?
Yes.
In which they all have a contest to see who can go the longest without masturbating. And so I ended up watching that one right after it because he said this. Because at the end of the contest, you know right away that Kramer hasn't won it. He's the first one to go. And then you learn later on that Elaine didn't. But at the end of the episode, you do see Jerry, like, basically
Jerry is sleeping. Yeah.
You see that Jerry in the moment basically gives in and goes and checks out the girl on the street, which then the impetus for him sleeping later on. Except right after that, they also show George sleeping. So you actually don't know if anybody won the contest, because the assumption is none of them won because none of them could do it, right? Except that in the puffy shirt episode, at some point, George is getting commented on his hands and then told that masturbation is bad for them, and he said, "That's no problem for me. I won a contest."
Right, and he clearly, that's when they do it, and then
So
that even comes back even further. It goes
later.
even further in the final episode when the plane is crashing and they're all like making these huge confessionals. George's confessional is, "I cheated during the contest," to which Jerry goes, "I knew it." So like, not only do they not reveal at the end of the contest episode who won, but then there's that lovely little bit in the puffy shirt. And then going all the way to the finale, it never sat well with Jerry. It never sat well with Jerry that George beat him.
So there's this weird idea that like even in small shit like that like we love that idea as fans. Like we love that idea of this grounded universe in which these things that we saw happen years ago are still affecting them today, right?
Well, arguably that is why Seinfeld worked, because the first 3 seasons were not serialized, and that 4th season is all about them having the meeting at NBC, writing and making the pilot happen.
Right. So the second serialization kind of becomes a thing, right? And that's kind of what we're talking about, is like basically people building from the ground up these serialized stories that the world grows with you, right? And so like we like that, and I like that, but you're right. There are some people out there that like then get really pissed off when their universe doesn't line up with the artist's universe or with another fan's universe, and everybody has to start fighting about who's right about this stuff, and that's when things get weird.
Right, that is when things get weird. And again, I do not care that LeFou is homosexual. It makes sense, and if it's what the director envisioned, that's cool. But I also would not like if Elsa is gay in the sequel to Frozen strictly because people demanded it.
Yeah.
If that was the original intention, that's completely fine. But if it's fan service just for the sake of fan service and appeasing fans, that becomes a problem for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fan service is definitely an issue. I mean, as we see it go too far when we start watching things like anime or playing video games, right? And like fan service gets to a point where it's like, forget plot. Here's just a bunch of naked people, right? And that's all you want. It's like, oh,
yeah,
it's not. No, you've lost the thread at some point.
Yeah. Jeez, this was fun. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little tired. I feel like I got a lot of big ideas out off of my chest.
Yeah, I think this was a good one. You're welcome, people.
And if you want to tell us just why we're wrong about thinking this was a good one, feel free to get us on Twitter at The Say Report. We're also available through Gmail, thesayreport@gmail.com.
Yeah, you can also catch me on Twitter at Siege versus the World, and you can catch Devin on Twitter at Devin Decker.
At Devin D. Decker. I still haven't gotten Devin Decker. But come on, Sayrians. Say-Reportians.
Don't call them Syrians. That's not going to end well for us.
Yeah, Sayrians was a snafu. But Say-Reportians, let's get it together. Let's get me at Devin Decker, right?
Why not say reporters?
Yeah, well, because we're the Say Reporters.
All right. Reporties? All right, we'll figure this out.
We'll figure it out. We get time together. So, again, keep an eye out for fun bonus stuff from Siegen and Devin's Lost Week 2017 edition.
Yeah.
And do you have anything else to add before we send it over to Will?
No, let's send it over to him.
All righty, well, take it away, big guy.
Thank you for listening to the Say Report with your host, Devin Decker and Siegen Serwick. Please follow the guys on Twitter and Facebook by searching for The Say Report, and you can always subscribe on your podcast channel so this is delivered straight to you and you can enjoy it every week. With apologies to your mother, we'll see you next time.